Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. You're here with Senior Prepping. My name is Andrew, I'm a senior and I prep. Kind of makes sense. Today I have to speak to you about a very important topic. Now most of you will recognize what this is, a Faraday cage. But many of you may have these, but not going to give you the protection that you need or required or necessary to protect your goods inside it. Now, for those who don't know what Faraday cage is, that's what we're going to start with. What is a Faraday cage? Why do you need it? What's it used for? And how important is it? Faraday cage is a device that protects you against EMP or CME events. Now, a CME, coronal mass ejection, is a large discharge from the sun of energy. And we had a big one in 1859. In September of 1859. We had no telephones, no electricity, but we did have telegraphs. Telegraph operators were getting electric shocks at the telegraph keys. The electric telegraph equipment was burning down, and the telegraph lines across the country were frying out and melting off the poles. Big event. Now, it's called the Carrington effect, named after the astronomer, Royal English astronomer, who saw the event in England. So, what does this have to do with us? Well, these events happen all the time. In fact, it's been theorized that a major, massive solar event will happen every 100 to 150 years. So you're looking at a calendar right now. The last one happened in 1859. We're due, actually maybe past a little due. Now, we did have a small event in 1989 up in Canada in the Quebec area. But these discharges from the sun, big ones, can be devastating. Now, imagine what happened today if we had a national blackout. Think what happened over in Spain, Portugal, and parts of France. Well, instead of making it going for a couple of days, let's see if it went for months or years even. You would not be happy. I wouldn't be happy. Nobody would be happy. We're too dependent on our electricity. Also, our equipment would be fried, especially microprocessors would be toast. So what does this do? This protects you against that. Other part of this, now it's big brother for an EMP. The CME is a small one. The EMP is the big brother of the two. Now, an EMP is caused by a nuclear explosion, detonated up in the atmosphere about 300 to 400 miles up. It causes a huge electromagnetic pulse throughout the area. In fact, how far? Depending on the height, it can go over 2 to 3, 4,000 miles from coast to coast. It's estimated that if we do one over the center of Kansas, it will take out the entire United States. Now, 1962, the United States government did a high altitude, or an HEMP, high HEMP electromagnetic pulse, that was using a 1.6 megaton bomb. Now, back in the day, it was kind of big, but nowadays it's really small. When detonated, it was detonated 800 miles from Hawaii. Hawaii got devastated. Electrical systems, lights, telephone, radio, kaput. Electromagnetic fields were in chaos. Part of the electric grid went out. Now, they did not have microprocessors back in 1962. They didn't have cell phones in 1962. Didn't have laptops in 1962. Didn't have a lot of stuff that we have now back in 1962. When they detonated the EMP back then in 1962, they measured the effect. The effect of it back then was 50,000 watts per meter. That was the value of it. And that's where most people have been using for 50,000 volts per meter for these. Well, in 2008, the EMP Commission sent a letter to Congress. Actually, a report, not just a letter, a full report to Congress, giving their information, their research, and their recommendations. They recommend that every Faraday cage, like this, and more, be protected from EMPs handling up over 200,000 volts per meter. They recommend it be having attenuation. Now, attenuation means you reduce the signal. EMPs are electromagnetic. Radio waves are electromagnetic. Basic math, basic idea, basic concept. You want the signal to be lessened and attenuated, be less strong, less powerful. That's why this is used we do these things to make the signal coming into these things less powerful. So you want to attenuate the wave, smaller and smaller and smaller. Well, these are designed to do about 40 dBs. Just a measurement, the way we measure radio waves, energy. So 40 dBs is not going to do the trick of being 80 to 100. You can remember that was a minimum, not the maximum, the minimum it must be done. So if this is doing 40, where do you get the other 60? Good question. Because if you're only doing 40, you still, even after a 200,000 volts per meter detonation of an EMP get detonated, there will still be over 2,000 volts coming into this thing. Not protected. Even if you put aluminum foil like this in the front and the back, with the cardboard inside to insulate it, the cardboard on the floor, you go around the inside and the outside of the seams with all the aluminum tape, you put the lid on it, and you put aluminum tape around the lid to hold it in place. That's going to give you 40 dB of protection. So what do? How do you protect yourself? Because 40 is not going to cut it. Easy answer to an easy question. I hate making things difficult. I believe in simpler than harder. I'd rather be smarter than harder. So what do I do? What did I do? What have I found? Take a look in here. This is called an EMP bag. It's like think of it as the size of a garbage bag. These are 36 inches by 36 inches. So the fit is most garbage cans. Now, it may look like Mylar, but it's not. This is designed to handle electrostatic and electric energy coming into it. It's not a regular Mylar bag. So just because it looks like a Mylar bag, it's not a Mylar bag. Please I want to make that clear. Now, what I did also, I made a gasket around the lid to give it better contact with the lid. So you want a metal to lid, solid lid contact here. Take the aluminum tape, put it around the seam to give it a clean seal and lock it in. And then you put your stuff, and before you do that, you put your stuff in here. Now to show you what I did, as I said, the can is 50. Sorry, the can is 40, the bag is 50. Well, 50 plus 40 is 90. Okay, you're in the D range. If you weren't happy with a D range, go for a D. But I'd rather get an A. Let me show you what I did. This is another Mylar bag. Same material, just smaller to fit items in here. This happens to be an MPPT solar controller. That's 12 volt. What you do is that you put it in here. Now that makes it easy. I got 40 for the can, 50 for the outer bag, and 50 for the inner bag. Well, that comes up to 140 dBs. Now that's plenty of security and protection. Now this is like an insurance policy. Case of emergency, break glass. So you buy it once, once and done. But do it right. If you're putting gear in here and electrical equipment in here, you want it to be saved, you want it to survive, and you want to use it after the effect. So you need to make sure this is your castle, your fortress. This is the Citadel. There we go. And you want to make sure that nothing gets into it that you don't want to. Which means you want to be able to stand at the gates and say, no EMP will get through. you shall not pass. And if you're doing 140 dBs on a 200,000 volt wave, let me take a look. I'll give you some interesting figures that I did. A 200,000 volt EMP attenuated to 140 dBs, you're getting 0.02 volts per meter. At 0.02. That is like, you're done. You're more than protected. So you want to get over the 100 point mark. That's going to be your goal. 80 to 100 is like a D. Anything over 100, you're golden. Now, if you do 100 dBs, which may want to be, I'll give you that information. I got it right here also. I did a little homework, did a lot of math. I've done this stuff since college. Okay? If you're attenuating a 200,000 volt per meter EMP, and you attenuate down to 100 dBs. Okay, 100 dB, you attenuate. So that's the can plus the bag in there. You're going to be going down to 2 volts per meter. Now that's also doable. So those are your options. Again, you want to get down to 100 volts or better, or 200,000. Actually, let me start again. You want to get down to 100 dBs or better to protect your equipment inside. It's that simple. Nothing complicated. And here's an easy solution to an easy problem. Now, what you can also do, if you don't want to use a second bag, you can also take your object, the item, your equipment, and wrap it in aluminum foil. Not any aluminum foil, not that weak, thin stuff, but you want to use the heavy aluminum foil here. Okay? Heavy duty aluminum foil is what you want to use. I got mine at Costco. Maybe at Sam's Clubs will have it, maybe at BJ's will have it, maybe your local supermarket. But get the heaviest, thickest, and should say heavy duty aluminum foil on it. What you do is the following. Take the object, take 3 sheets, rip off 3 equal sheets of aluminum foil to cover it. Pretend you're wrapping a Christmas gift. Aluminum foil. Do the first side, wrap it up like a Christmas gift. Rotate 180 degrees, wrap it up like a Christmas gift. Rotate 180 degrees again, and wrap it a third time. Nothing too complicated. I assume most of us have wrapped up Christmas gifts at least once or twice in our lives. Once that's done, get a Ziploc bag. Ziploc bag. Ziploc bag. Now, if the Ziploc bag is not large enough for the item you want to wrap up, use a garbage bag and wrap the item in the garbage bag. Get some duct tape and wrap the duct tape over the garbage bag so it keeps the garbage bag down to it. So it's easy, it's manageable. Then you want to do that one more time with 3 sheets of aluminum foil. So you want a total of 6, you want a layer of 3, insulating layer, or another layer of 3. This will give you about 40 extra dBs of protection on top of it. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less. Depending on how well you wrap it and everything else. Again, I'm being conservative. I'm not blowing smoke up there. I think 40 is a safe number to use. We're using 6 layers of aluminum foil. I think you're more than safe with that as a number. And then you take the object and put it into the large bag in here. When this is done completely, you seal it up with you heat seal it like you would a Mylar bag for food. Take aluminum tape, wrap the can up, sealing it, put it away. Small side note, when filling the can up, before you seal it, create a packing list and keep it on the outside of the can. This way you know what you put in here. So you have a running list of what's in here. Well, those are my tips and tricks. I hope that helps you. I hope you found this video entertaining, enlightening, and educational. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. It helps it helps with the algorithms from YouTube. Again, other people to see the video. Again, if this is your first time here, welcome. If you've been here before, thanks for coming back. A thumbs up would be nice, and a comment would be. I would look forward to seeing all your comments, and I will do my best to respond as best as I can. I may not always be able to, but it's my goal to at least get back to you if you have a question or want to know. Well, that's the best I can tell you right now. That's what I can give you. Also, one more thing. In the description will be a link to Faraday Defense where I got the bag. Be a coupon in there to use to get a 10% discount on the purchase. And if you do use a coupon, I say thank you. And it won't affect you, but I'll get a small little money out of it to help the channel. Just getting the full disclosure. Don't want to keep secrets from anybody. And that's about it. So good luck, be well, take care, and be safe. Until next time, keep on prepping.